So rain is a meditation, but it can also be used just without being in meditation. You can work through the different steps of rain, and learn a lot about the emotions that you're experiencing and getting some distance from them. So the R of rain stands for recognize. So you want to be able to label the emotion that you're having. Like I said earlier, when you label it, if you can label it, if you can name it and label it, you can tame it. Okay. And research shows that there's all kinds of processes that go on in the brain that when you accurately label an emotion, there is the amygdala is dampened. Okay. The amygdala is the part of the brain that is reacting to emotions, right? And so you kind of dampen that down so you're not as reactive. You get a little relief automatically from labeling it. A stands for accept and allow, right? We don't resist it. We put the welcome mat out for it. Oh, sadness. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but like you invited it in, let it come in, let yourself feel it, let yourself acknowledge it and say, the sadness is here right now. Okay, this is what sadness feels like. Or whatever emotion it is. Allowing instead of resisting. What you resist persists, right? What you allow fades away. And so allowing is also a really important part of the process, and one that we're not very skilled at as a whole. And then I stands for investigate. How does this sadness feel in my body? Right? Can you just bring your attention to your body and notice, well, I'm feeling a little sluggish, a little tired. I don't have much energy. I feel a little slumped over. And then what thoughts are going through your mind? What stories and beliefs are you telling yourself about the sadness? Because that's what's going to keep the story going. Oh, I have no friends. I'm never going to have any friends. My life is never going to go the way I want it to, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the story is, notice the story and then begin to not buy into it as truth, because thoughts are not facts. They're just thoughts. And you can begin to ask yourself, well, what else is true, right? Is there some other way of looking at this? How is this impacting me to believe this particular thing? And, there's parts of it that may be true, parts of it that may not be true. Begin to kind of just investigate it and tease it apart a little bit instead of just letting it be this thing that has you gripped by, in the clutches. And then once you've investigated fully, then you can move into N, which is non-identify and nurture. So we don't want to identify with the emotions as who we are. I am not sadness. There is sadness passing through, right? If I can see sadness as something that's just moving through my experience, I'm not always sad. Sadness comes and goes. There's moments I'm happy, moments I'm sad. And in fact, there can be moments of happiness in the midst of sadness. Don't allow it to become this big thing that completely encompasses you and puts you into a box. And then stepping back from it, you can even see the story as a movie going across the screen. I kind of like that analogy, right? It's so here's the story. You're watching it like a movie, and I can be a witness to it, and let it pass through and feel it and let it go, and then bring kindness to myself, right? Because ouch, sadness hurts, right? And it's not to say that these things aren't going to have an impact, because they do, but we can bring kindness to ourselves. I always bring my hands to my heart when I'm talking about this, because it's just this beautiful way of telling your body that you're listening, bringing your hands to your heart and saying, wow, I'm sorry, that's really difficult. It's, sadness hurts. And what can I do to best take care of you right now? Do you need to go take a hot bath, light a candle, call a friend, journal, meditate, go on a walk, go into nature, take a bike ride, whatever. There's so many things that you could do after you've gone through that whole process to then engage in self-care. In mindfulness practice, there's kind of two parts to right effort. And the first part is to recognize when something difficult has arisen, right? And so we acknowledge it, but we don't want to just sit in it forever. We then want to cultivate what's skillful. We want to cultivate what's going to bring joy into our life. We want to cultivate the other things that can balance the sadness, or that can balance the difficulties and take care of us when the difficulties arise.